peux vous poser une brève question?
Qui êtes-vous?
Moi, je suis journaliste Italie.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What is this?
It's the working people. Look up to that in case you... Whoa.
Is this the cold case?
No, this is only part of it.
Part of it.
We're bringing over, about 64 more boxes.
You have to be aware that there's only assigned places that you can record, okay? This is not one of them.
Why?
Like this
Why?
way?
It's all
Because
fine.
and people need to sit. Of course, we got the cost recovery before the government. With the government.
Presence of the flag of the United States, emblem of the Constitution, and of freedom and justice for all. Department 324 of the Superior Court of the State of California for the County of Los Angeles, now in session. The Honorable Victoria Gerard Cheney, Judge presiding. Please be seated.
Welcome everybody to Department 324. This is the matter of John Doe versus UNOCAL, case number BC 237980, and John Rowe III versus UNOCAL.
So, from January 1993, all of 93 and all of 94 into December 1994, there's not much going on the land. UMOC, or UNOCAL folks, they're really doing nothing there. It's Total, if anybody, is checking out the land, doing some environmental work, picking the pipeline route. There's no construction going on, there's no building of infrastructure. The actual laying of the pipe doesn't even begin until, I believe, the following year, maybe into 1996. Now, in terms of the plaintiff's claims, remember, the work really starts in September 95. They filed their lawsuit in September 1996, only 1 year or so into the initial building of the project.
First of all, I think a number of my clients who have been clubbed, beaten, family members murdered, they've been enslaved, would be somewhat surprised to hear that nothing happened between 1993 and 1995, when they were moved from their farms, their property was taken.
UNOCAL decided in the early 90s that it would be an investor in a project that involved drilling for oil and gas under the Andaman Sea off the coast of Myanmar, and then transporting the gas through a pipeline that would be built under the sea and then cross a 30 or 40 mile stretch of the southern part of the country and then into Thailand. A very technologically complicated project, but a project that was executed quite well. And the gas is flowing, and the people in Thailand are benefiting from it. Now, UNOCAL's role in this project was as a minority investor. This was a project that was effectively run by Total.
What is the percentage of Total? Do you know?
Total has a percentage somewhere in the 30% range. I don't know the exact breakdown of the figures since we only represent UNOCAL, but UNOCAL's percentage is about 28%.
Pahati Haulia, Petita Lay, Petiti, Pola Yukone, you knock that up a Hakido. Bahaki Dado. Copa board be your mehead or Gida, you are non a little tane. Kiwi, Pobati or the Porga. Blue plop hota bobo there. I will Pobati the pony. I will Cati Piadi Podo Porga. That melon man, what a man and now I see I in the hell of the old of the jig, or whole lot I leco. The Pelewida Piotani, I had the whipavanian in the chawine. I went a popoli, the Takodavania, go and keep my neighbor. What a popoli, tap, look. Mbapli bapu da koko. Awe dubia na tog ladi. When not ya na maklikli the way, maklikli look out and maklik care. Ta buin ta chi. Me makli back out the way check do check go to Sally. Maybe you didn't mark what the quarter. Talaki yali hakichi do lipado. But here got penny pa elin. Tama people were ruined, but market balava. But now I'll back of little mover.
I met Hsaw around July of 1992, and I was working to document the human rights abuses associated with the logging industry in Asia. And I had to go into Burma and interview people who had been victims and witnesses. When I told people that I needed to meet individuals who had direct experience with human rights abuses, everyone said, oh, human rights, you must meet with Hsaw. Every person I talked to, oh, you are doing human rights work, you must meet with Hsaw. You must talk to Hsaw. Of course, his name was not Hsaw at that time.
In order for me to, be able to go in and out of Burma, whenever we go in and out of Burma, we need to go through Thai checkpoints. So sometimes we have to deal with Thai authorities. For example, Thai military intelligence, we have to deal with them. Because it's so important for us to deal with them because they can take you in and out. They want information about Burmese military and stuff like that, so we give to them in order for us to be able to travel. A lot of times they know me by my fake passport name. And there was time that one of my Thai intelligence friend came up to me and asked, okay, at the time my name was Myo Wing in the passport. So Myo Wing, do you know Hsaw? And I said, of course I know him. And he said, anytime you see him, call me right away. I gave you this number, all you have to do is wait is Hsaw. I said, okay, it's fine. So what I do is like, I was eating in the restaurants and I get out of restaurants and before I get on the bus, I call them. I said, Hsaw is eating at the so-and-so restaurant, go and get him. He is there, and I get on the bus and gone. Of course, they go to the restaurant and ask the owner who, did that person come? Oh, owner said that, okay, that kind of people come. So they were so happy with my information. But till 1997, and they start realize I'm Hsaw. Yeah, now it's more difficult because I knew that my pictures are everywhere in the border area, and I knew that they're looking for me, and I knew that they know who I am now. So it's very difficult for me to travel freely like before. Before I could travel much better than now. Now it's just like I have to be extra careful just to keep myself safe and to be able to continue doing my job.
I came to Thailand 10 years ago. It was 1992 when the Burmese army was attacking the border and attacking Mokher. And every day I was teaching English in the refugee camp. Every day I could hear the explosions. And even I was teaching, the school would shake. And people were running across the border every day. At that time, I thought, this is just incredible. Why? Why do these people have to run? Why are they fleeing from their country, escaping? And so I talked to people, and I heard their stories, and I heard directly from them about the Burmese military. And I thought to myself, I don't know, what can I do? But I have to do something.
We just want to see some people over there. It's okay with you?
Yes. This is still Thailand?
Yeah, very close to Burma, yeah. But now we're going to Burma side. Sometimes the area where we're trying to go very, very close because of the situation, because of the soldiers around, we cannot go. So sometimes we just have to wait for a couple of days just to wait and listen to the situation, and we have to listen to their conversation in order to locate where all those militaries are. So sometimes we just have to wait just like this, kind of boring, but nothing could be done without waiting. I don't even know that I have. Okay. I've been spending jungle 1988 till 1995. And in 1995, I stay going back and forth. But just like 7 years, I stay straight in the jungle. To have a hammock like that is so good. I mean, make your life much, much easier. But when we left Burma with students, it was, so difficult. When it's rain, we have nothing. And, especially we don't have hammock like that, so we don't have any plastic either. If we have hammock like that, we could sleep between the hammock, 2 pieces. So, I mean, just like this. So we can protect ourselves from mosquito and bugs. And even rain just goes through, so it's amazing. Now we are like, like king now. I'm listening to military communication, so I could locate them where they live. So I think we should go this direction, and we have to walk around. So we might want to walk around this way to go to the other side.
Total, as part of its responsibilities as the operator of the pipeline company that built the pipeline, set up extraordinary socioeconomic programs to assist the people who lived in the areas where the pipeline was being built. Hospitals, schools, computer training, technical job training. Mortality rates have gone down. They built recreational facilities for children. There has been extraordinary development for the betterment of the local population, and we don't hear that story being told by the plaintiffs. That's a story they don't want to be told.
I know what's happening because this is a little path, so we might want to move to other side or a little bit there. What are you now? What are you? Huh? Do you
và mà cái là đồ phi quá khó quá bây giờรับรอบที่ปนักหัวเลยก็ละวันเล่นเลยก็ละวันเล่นเลยคนละแต่วันมินมิเลยก็ละวันแต่ที่ทำมันหัวเสียละวันเสียคนเนี่ยแค่บ้าหักตัวกูบ้าปวดกูมาจะนี่ว่าแล้วขี้กูตัวนี้เนี่ยไปเยอะให้ลูกพ่อวะไปเยอะให้ลูกพ่อวะละยังอยู่ว่าหักเลยนั่นก็อยู่ว่าคือเราไปเยอะค่ะยังอยู่ตีเราอยู่พอเราได้จะสิ่งนี้ละไปเยอะให้พ่อวะเราไปเยอะตัวyaไปเยอะพอเราไปเยอะเตะเราไม่อุบุรุษอาป้าเนี่ยไปเยอะค่ะละคุยละบ้าไปเยอะจอเราอยู่พอเนี่ยเราจะเล่นยินหน่อยก็ยินดันวะอยู่พอเนี่ยพันเนี่ยเราไม่อุอระมาขวดตะเกียบสูดก็เนี่ยละมั้งเอาวันนี้เราป้าเนี่ยให้กี่ละก็เตะเราไปได้มั้งกี่ละบุคคลอยู่พอเนี่ยไปเยอะเตะไม่อุบุรุษอาป้าเนี่ยไปเยอะค่ะละคุยละये बुखिला क्या कि खिले वो लली निगरा ये खिला चु हसमा प्लान तो अम्मा खाया ना ये खिला के ये बाव को बिगा अगर ये के लखी से ये फिर बिगा ये फोन तो सी बिगा खाने ये खिर चु कोचन ये है चु कोचन रा ये लेती रा ये लुआ आवाज दुखा दे तो चाही ना ये कोला वाले पागल ना लाने ये लेती ना करा किसी का मदद से ले रहा ते दो ये ले तो चाही हुआ là tao mà phải ta thực là nhanh là tao phải lỡ rồi tao mình ngủ ở vậy là tao mình lấy chỉ ta khi về chỉ mình xóa được giá cái gì đấy mình lấy do bác cô kia là neo bị hít qua bù thal blood mà cái ba lấy lấy bù khó xí gì qua là gì lúc tao qua là bù lỡ hả lấy chút đi à bà bên này được lấy bù bà đã thế này lo mà lo dù là cho
En Birmanie et le génocide de Karen.
J'avoue que j'étais pas trop au courant, je savais même pas que Total était en Birmanie et j'ai trouvé les interventions intéressantes. Monsieur Desmarais dit qu'il ne faut pas mélanger politique et affaires économiques.
En réalité, il sait très bien qu'il fait de la politique, il finance des dictatures, en l'occurrence une junte dictatoriale en Birmanie. Et les dernières informations font état d'une rente annuelle de Totafina de l'ordre de 15 millions de dollars qui sont versés pour droits de passage et rente et sécurisation du gazoduc au gouvernement birman.
Je m'en fiche complètement parce que je considère que l'entreprise n'a pas à faire de politique.
Mais écoutez, il y a un génocide d'une population entière.
C'est vous qui dites qu'il y a un génocide, mais il y a malheureusement des génocides dans d'autres pays.
Et que si c'est pas Total, ça sera une autre société américaine ou autre. Donc si Total fait des actions humanitaires apolitique en Birmanie, comme il l'a dit, je n'ai rien à le reprocher.
Et vous êtes sûr que c'est ça qu'il fait?
Et je suis sûr que c'est ça parce qu'ils sont sincères. Voilà.
Merci.
Don't care to know either and want to close their eyes and close their ears to the truth because unfortunately the truth in this case is actually, forced labor, forced relocation, all of this is in the commercial benefit of this pipeline and that makes their stock options go up and unfortunately that's all they care about. It's really sad.
Question?
Pourquoi?
Et pour savoir si comme actionnaire vous êtes content que vous êtes en Birmanie, Total en Birmanie.
Dangerous, Hsaw, to be here around for you?
Yeah, yes or no, but after I go there, I'm gonna take off this mask that I'm putting on, and I put a new mask.
Like all the names? With which name are you here now? You didn't show me the passport.
So we just came here to see the situation here and see the pipeline from Burma and as well as to be able to see what's going on in the area. And a lot of people are forced to carry ammunition and supplies for the soldiers that the soldiers are taking security of the area, their traveling area. They have to build a helipad in this area. So this is kind of very important point. This is the connection of the pipeline from Burma and to Thailand.
UNOCAL is a company that's been around for decades. It goes back to the turn of the century. And I'm talking about the 20th century, not the 21st century. Good people work for the company, people with families, people who go to work and earn their paycheck and come home and pay their taxes and take care of their families and are good citizens, not only in their personal lives but in their corporate lives. And to think that the plaintiffs are trying to accuse the men and women of UNOCAL of being responsible for brutal crimes is simply unthinkable. Now, the good news is that in a court of law, you can't just get away with saying things. You have to prove it. You have to have the evidence and you have to have the facts. And they don't have the facts to prove that UNOCAL is responsible.
In particular, in this area, there's Thai army that are working very close with military dictatorship in Burma. So if any of Thai or Burmese find out, those people's life could be lost. Retaliation of the military dictatorship is always horrible.
Đó là mưa này thì bây giờ là
mưa này đỏ
đỏ đầm
đỏ qua cái nhó đi ra ta lên mưa bị chỉ này mà ta cổ chu nè xe là cái rơi luôn nè đây là hai bà đua rồi
Bado ya Marbala ya Pina ya Tara.
Nambado pula.
Ya Bado ke.
Talop le. Nambado le nombor talop.
Saya kepawi ya lewawi. Lewa kaki.
Actually, the partnership with Total is in Myanmar and not in Thailand, so that's probably not appropriate.
I know it's a little bit controversial project because UNOCAL has been, together with Total, blamed that they're some of the few companies that
I don't think I should step into that.
Why?
I think we're talking about Thailand here.
Because when you ask him for an interview, he has to ask the permission from big boss, from the president, and the president say, okay, you can give the interview within this topic.
And we would rather not talk about other countries.
This is something that...
So we should move into
the office, but you didn't... you don't want to tell me about the partnership with Total?
I'm not...
yeah, because I'm not answering for UNOCAL in Myanmar.
No, you didn't... Oh, wait.
Ye pe kon ba mala ne akina na clear ne ora after to toble idri fini na khune ma ba ye ba ye le ne ba la ta ku kla yam na le ye ku ne lo ta thi to pa da ye ma ta ba lo ba ye ku la yo le ye li ba cho re thau re ye yu le ye ku ni ba ba ye ku la yo le ye li ba cho re thau re ye yu le ye ku ni ba ye ko do ne ma la ku la go ni ba ku le cha ye ta na pa ne cha ne ku le
Letani kamui tholo nena ya tombo ditho kame poagitera ke itinya le kamayeli momo ke kiye dasuna o letani tulo bake nena ya
Three answers to each question, okay? So the first question is, after you graduate, what are the main problems that you hope to solve? And just write down three answers. I know that all of you probably want to solve every problem of the world. So just write down your top three answers.
ခင်ဗျားတို့မှာစီကျင်သုံးသက်တဲ့အတွေးခေါ်တွေခင်ဗျားတို့မှာဝင်လာမယ်ခင်ဗျားတို့မှာဒီကြောင့်မှသင်ပေးတဲ့ပညာရက်တွေပေါ်မှာခင်ဗျားတို့ရဲ့ practical level ခင်ဗျားတို့ရဲ့ society မှာခင်ဗျားတို့ဘာလုပ်ရမလဲဆိုတော့မြင်လာတဲ့ပုံမှာခင်ဗျားတို့ကိုယ်တိုင်ကပဲခင်ဗျားတို့ပြန်လုပ်ရမယ် I just want to say that all the students here they have a lot of responsibility in their life they were going to be doing for their people and their society and their community so for them in order for them to do it very systematically or to them safely not to jeopardize their life and their plans it's going to be so important for them not to show their face.
After I left the border of Burma that summer, after being in Manarpla and learning about the pipeline, I went back to my school because I wasn't finished yet. And I talked to many of my teachers, my professors, and I told them what was happening in Burma. And I told them about this pipeline, and I told them about what UNOCAL, this American oil company, was doing. And I wrote a long paper, maybe 100 pages, about this. And I gave it to my teacher. He said, "Katie, you have done good research. You have worked very hard, but I am sorry to tell you that it cannot be done. You cannot do it. The law in America will not allow you to sue a company if they did bad things in Burma. It is impossible."
UNOCAL itself sold its U.S. operations, or at least its western U.S. operations, in order to go to Burma. It sold out and destroyed the lives of workers here in this country in order to be part of enslaving people in Burma. There's something disgusting about this.
The United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit is now in session.
Okay. Morning. We'll call these matters as they appear on the calendar. First item is John Doe versus UNOCAL Corporation and others.
They were part of an ongoing venture which had a legitimate aim in the sense of building a pipeline. We don't claim that building a pipeline is an illegitimate aim, but part and parcel of building that pipeline was the fact that the military was going to commit human rights violations in order to do this. And we don't say that UNOCAL would be responsible or other companies would be responsible for doing business in Burma or any place else, per se. What we're saying in this case is that UNOCAL and Total entered into an agreement with this government to do a particular project, that project included giving to the military the responsibility to do security, which it could have given to private companies. Private companies can do security for a project like this. They may not be able to do security 100 miles from the...
You think the government would have permitted that?
Excuse me?
You think SLORC would have permitted that?
Well, we have no reason to believe that SLORC wouldn't have permitted it. In fact, in the documents, there's at least a genuine issue about that, because UNOCAL's own documents say that they considered other options other than having the military do this, and they didn't do it. So presumably they believed they could do it, but it's not. They would have had to spend a lot more money.
And in fact, the contract relating to the pipeline has no such provision for security to be provided by MOGE or by the Myanmar military.
How did it come about then? I'm just curious, as a matter of fact, that the SLORC did provide security for the pipeline itself, right? That's not disputed.
The pipeline, well, with respect to the pipeline itself, the construction of the pipeline, there is no evidence of any forced labor, any conscripted labor. The claims relate to areas either in the vicinity or not so close to the vicinity of the pipeline.
What do you claim? Like for instance, like the helipads are not part of the pipeline?
I believe that's correct.
What are they for?
Well, let me take a step back and provide the court with some backgrounds in the record of the case.
Well, tell me first what the helipads are for.
For landing helicopters.
To construct the pipeline. To help construct the pipeline.
Any other, as Judge Liu mentioned in his opinion, they were there for any purpose that the government wanted to use them.
I know, but why would you build a helipad, in a remote location right next to the pipeline right away?
Well, the locations...
Getting back to your statement, there's no evidence that SLORC provided security for the pipeline. If they provide security for the helipad, you can infer they provide security for the pipeline. And my question is, why did they do that if they weren't obligated to do it under, as you say, under the contract?
Well, I don't have the answer to
you don't know how that came about. Nothing in the record to show why SLORC provided security for the pipeline when they had no obligation.
Well, it was an obligation. If you're going to have foreign nationals, if you're going to have foreign corporations doing any work in a company under international law, the military of the host country has the obligation to provide security.
con cái bì bia, con cái bì bia, con cái bia.
Nhiều tí ấy của nó không này, nhiều tí là có bỏ lì lao chi đấy, tôi bây giờ lấy bây giờ lao chi rồi, ngã bây giờ một có bỏ lì tụi này nó cũng gì đấy, thì thu yêu tham mà, để thuê mà sao giờ sẽ đây là lấy bây giờ đã xì này nó cho chi mà rồi là bầy nó bỏ lì tụi là cái đó chứ nó thu tiền lại họ công chuyện đi cho nó thế này này, rồi xì nhé có xì là từ là nhà gì ở phần thì ấy thế này cho nên sẽ công chuyện xì đấy. Cho nên bây giờ sẽ đâu như thế này cho những cái này chúng ta mà bộ chính phủ chúng ta mà bộ quyền của người nhà thì bây giờ quyền của người nhà chúng tôi đã làm gì đây là vô gì mà thì chúng tôi là chúng ta muốn cái đâu mà được cái gì rồi mà thì đến cái gì đó cho nên cái này là sẽ đâu như thế đó.
When I was on my way to the jungle, I saw one thing that changed my life. It was a dead body of a woman. Her age was about 23, 24. And I saw her dead body with, one of, I don't know, the left or right nipples cut off and 3 branches in her vagina. When I see that, all of us totally shocked. We didn't know what's going on. And I thought to myself, how could possibly, people treat each other like that? And simultaneously, in the same time, I was staying around in the village for a long time. So I visit one place to another just to know the situation of the people, and I heard so many horrible stories. And then I think to my mind that in order for me to take revenge, is going to comfort my anger only. It's going to go for me only. I'm not going to change the suffering of people of Burma, and I'm not going to bring democracy to Burma by fighting against them. And then those atrocities need to be exposed to the world. And I thought, I'm going to document those atrocities and expose to the world. Since then, I start documenting human rights violation and, expose to the world.
I met Hsaw about 3 or 4 years ago when I was writing a book on the quality of courage. It was interviews with people like Václav Havel, Elie Wiesel, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Archbishop Tutu, and others around the world who stood up to government oppression at great personal risk in the pursuit of human rights. And when I met Hsaw, I knew right away that he had to be part of this book. He is a man of such extraordinary courage and vision, and with a firm belief in the capacity of one person to make a difference. The fact that he brought a lawsuit against a multinational oil company for hiring the Burmese military, which was then committing these atrocities in the name of the oil company, was brilliant. And it's the first lawsuit of its kind.
I remember my childhood, I was an amazing boy. When I was 17 years old, I had a jean came from America. It's called Lee blue jean, and I have cowboy boots. And I have two American t-shirts. One is a big motorcycle sticker here, and the other one is like, you know, bones and skull. And I proudly wear it all the time. And at the time, I have my earring connected to each other with chain. And I have like pig fang hanging out the left side of my ears. So I thought I was so cool. After I finished my high school, my plans to go to university and learn about economy and to be a businessman, and that's all I was thinking, because I really want to be a rich man and I really want to do business and you know, to do business and do business, you know what I'm saying? My dream to be businessman in Burma, to make a lot of money in Burma, but that dream disappeared and I tended to smoke. I was arrested and tortured by military intelligence for 3 days. They were looking for a friend of mine who fight against military or military going after. That friend disappeared. I have no idea where he is, and that they want to get information about him. At the corner of the room, there was very little piece of rocks. So what I have to do, I have to put my chest on those rocks, and I have to swim across cement floor, on wall to wall. After I did a couple of times, I couldn't do anymore, and then there's the time that I stopped, and they came and stepped on my back with their boots and stand on my back. It was such a painful thing. And I was so angry. At that point, I wasn't scared they're gonna torture me anymore. At the time, I was so angry, and in my mind, you can kill me. I'm gonna try to kill you, so I'm trying to remember his face.
Do you solemnly state that the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You could loudly state and spell your first, middle, and last name for me.
Isn't it true that you were requested to give legal advice to the lawyers representing UNOCAL starting in October 2002?
Yes, thank you.
Now, the military has been in control of Burma since at least 1988, right? And before that, they were in control for the most part of the 26 years before that, isn't that true?
Yeah.
And the military controls what the government of Burma does by ordinances and decrees, isn't that true?
True.
And there are no free elections in Burma now, is that correct?
Yeah, that's true.
Professor, I don't understand, so help me, okay? Who chooses the judges? Is it the military?
The SPDC.
Okay. All right. And who chooses who sits on the SPDC? Is it the military?
Yes.
Thank you.
And if they don't like what a judge says in a decision, they can remove that judge immediately for no reason or any reason they want. Isn't that right?
There are no judges, high judges removed from the Supreme Court. They just give retirement according to the law.
And actually, I'm glad you mentioned that, because in 1998, 5 of the 6 justices happened to decide to retire at the same time. Isn't that right? And the reason they did that is they were just tired with their work?
I didn't knew it, but they got a retirement according to the law.
Have you ever seen a situation where a judge has made a decision that the counsel does not like?
No, not yet.
I see, thank you.
Free! Free! Free Mama! Free! Free! Free Mama! What do we want? When do we want it? Now! Aung San Suu Kyi! Aung San Suu Kyi! Aung San Suu Kyi! Aung San Suu Kyi! Aung San Suu Kyi!
Right after that, after I would say about 3 weeks, the student uprising started. I was so determined to participate in student uprising to ask for the freedom and democracy in Burma. We going around school to school, talk to students to participate with us. The whole country participated with us. Even Navy and police, government, services, they joined with us. We heard everywhere they are shooting, but we still want to do our student peaceful demonstration. Many students were killed, many of my friends shot in the street. When they shoot people, some people were just injured. In order for them to hide those atrocities, what they have to do, they put all the people that just injured on the car together with other dead bodies, and then they bury them alive. We could save some of the injured people. We bring to the hospital, and all we students, we surrounded the hospital to protect those injured students. And they didn't come in, but they shoot us with aircraft, machine gun. Now I know that they call it .5 or something. The bullets big. Those bullets go through the cement wall, no problem. And as many of them, students and nurses and doctors died at the hospital.
Don't worry, Pomo. Here. How quick can you hold my hand? Ah! Look at Paul, hold my hand. Here, my hand. Paul. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Good job. We did it.
We had to wait 9 months from the time we argued our appeal to the Ninth Circuit until the time that the court gave their decision, in which we won, and the court did say, in fact, that we had a right to sue UNOCAL for human rights abuses that it was complicit in Burma.
We then asked the Court of Appeal to reconsider that opinion in a special proceeding called an en banc proceeding, where instead of 3 judges, 11 judges all convene. And if it's an important enough issue, and they did agree to hear the matter, and we had an argument on this in San Francisco, and now the court is deciding what to do.
All right.
The Alien Tort Claims Act allows people from other countries who have been wronged in their country by American corporations with decisions made here in America to be sued in federal court here in America. The Alien Tort Claims Act is such a fundamental part of our statutory system. It was passed in 1789. There's definitely a huge corporate interest in getting the Alien Tort Claims Act defeated. There are, I'm certain, millions and millions of dollars being poured into lobbying efforts to prevent exactly what is happening in our case. The corporations who are going offshore, who are creating these phony corporations, who are creating these phony subsidiaries, want not to be liable for their overseas bad conduct here in this country.
Dusting off a law from 1789 that wasn't used at all for over 190 years and then suddenly appears, and using that, we think, improperly to try to sue companies is not, again, in our view, and I say, I'm pleased to say, the view of the United States government, is not an appropriate way to use the law.
For the last 23 or more years, the courts have been very comfortable developing legal principles under the Alien Tort Claims Act in the individual dictator cases like Marcos and Philartiga and so on. And that it's only now, because we've sued major oil companies that are friends with the Bush administration, that we suddenly have all of this interest from the government in trying to stop this process.
That is correct. The administration submitted a brief in the UNOCAL case in California saying that they thought the case should be dismissed. But let me
basis.
On the basis that the law does not, as I was saying, that it does not make companies liable for the behavior of governments that commit human rights abuses.
The entire human rights community around the world is following the UNOCAL lawsuit brought by Earth Rights International very, very carefully. Because it will be precedent setting for holding corporations responsible for the human rights abuses committed in their names.
So what we have here is a company which is not responsible for the project, is not the operator of the project, is a minority partner in the project being sued. Why? Well, for 2 reasons. One, because we have this law, this Alien Tort Statute, which I guess France does not have. And 2, quite frankly, because if you can win a case in the U.S. courts, you hit the jackpot with it's like winning the lottery.
While we travel in the jungle, the place where it could be really dangerous, we carry the little handmade gun, and then we just prepare 1 bullet in it, and just to prepare to commit a suicide if we caught by the military. If they caught me in the missions of fact-finding of the human rights violation, I'm gonna get tortured a lot, and I'm afraid that if they torture me, I won't know how they're gonna torture me, and I would say my connection or the people who helped me, So I could jeopardize many people. So the best way is just to commit suicide, not to kill other people and not to jeopardize our whole network.
We believe the claims are fabricated against the company that involve claims of sexual assault, for example, this tragic story about the baby who was burned and then later died. We don't know whether those things happened or not, but what we do know is that they did not have anything to do with this pipeline project, because we have documents, including newspaper articles, where these folks were interviewed and they themselves said it had to do with the railroad.
We were just talking with her husband and things like that, and then she pointed out to her husband, I can't believe you just staying like that. If I'm a man, I'm going to take arm and fight against. Because she's so strong. But for those people, they do not have any other way. They do not have any other things to do but take arm against. But when we give them the hope, and when we tell them there's our justice exists, they are so happy.
This is simply a case of political advocates trying to generate publicity for their cause, a political cause. They don't want American companies doing business in Burma. They filed this lawsuit to generate publicity for their cause, and at the end of the day, they will be completely unable to prove up these charges, and some of them are not only false, but some of them are fabricated against the company.
Yeah, we do have
That's me. I'd like you to understand, they say UNOCAL is the puppet master. UNOCAL, the puppet master. After Your Honor used that word in a hearing, I can't tell you how many times I've seen it now in their witnesses, depositions, and arguments in their papers. It's become their word now.
As we won at each step, and we defeated them in various courts on various issues, and we kept getting closer and closer to trial, it has become a symbol throughout this country of what can be done to protect people in other countries, from outrageous conduct by American corporations.
If they're right that they can assign responsibility to someone other than these rogue soldiers, then these companies, UMOC and MGTC, and if you wanted to even sue the shareholders of MGTC, you'd have UGVs, the current shareholder, UIPC used to be. So you sue those corporations. And guess what? You go to trial, you win your case, and you get your judgment, and you get paid. You sue, you win, you get your judgment, and you get paid.
It's completely dishonest to say that these companies had millions of dollars, because they didn't have a cent. They never had a cent. The only time they had money is when they needed a certain sum from UNOCAL, and they would call that money, it's called a cash call, and they would get that money for that purpose. None of them had a single dime other than that which was needed for a specific purpose at a specific time. And UNOCAL was under no requirement to give them that money. So, for instance, if somebody sued them and there actually was a judgment, UNOCAL didn't have to give them a cent.
You know, there's this insidious sense of entitlement from the other side here, Your Honor. It's as though they have some God-given, inalienable right to sue UNOCAL. They have no such right, and they have no such case against this company. All they have are vicious, proven, and if we have to go forward, and you will see largely, if not entirely, fabricated allegations based on perjury. That's what they have, Your Honor. I mean, you know, it's not like 15 villagers from refugee camps picked up the phone and called Mr. Stormer and Mr. Collingsworth. These plaintiffs were recruited, they were handpicked.
I'm just going to object. This is insensitive and it is improper.
It is insensitive.
This is attacking the individuals, and this is an improper argument.
Your Honor, hey, have no objection. After I heard about, I sat here, Your Honor, and I heard about murder and slavery.
Enough.
I think this trial will last about 2 to 3 weeks. The issue is very simple. They have to prove the subsidiary corporations who made the investments have no funds. They cannot prove that, and that's really the end of the case, we think.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So that was just an academic exercise, huh?
415-6300. With that fabulous lighting. Nice to be on lighting in this little window.
I mean, the facts of this case are outrageous. And a jury is going to hold them accountable, and is going to hold them accountable in the way that our jury system provides, which is they're going to make them pay a large sum of money. And I would not be at all surprised if it were in the 9 figures.
Hello. 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 Goodbye. Meow. Meow.
They know your momo tabo le o ye no ya lo pa do na yite mali me le yelu ba tha ko ba o yi do na mo bla ba yeta kama pe ye no sinatu da po le yako baza ne te nyokwi ya ba le tani kamwi tholo ne da ya tombo di tho kame bwa ge te ga ke I nya le kama ye li momo Ke ye da sun o letani tu lo ba ke ne na ya do pla yata ka ma ta pa. Thank you very much.